The Bruins take on the Hurricanes, 7 o'clock Eastern puck drop. Carolina's minus 135, totals 5.5. And following a 3-2 day in my 5 premium sports picks on brockpage.com yesterday, we're also 5-1 in our last 6 board member tier package picks on brockpage.com as well. And the good news is we have another board member tier package pick going off here this evening. We currently have over 930 members who are signed up and active on that website. And if you want to see which one of these free YouTube picks on this channel that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website at brockpage.com. Freddie Anderson's the expected netminder for Carolina. Jeremy Swayman for Boston. Now Swayman comes into today's matchup with a .303 goals against average and an .885 save percentage. Boston is also in the second of a back-to-back, and they also lost 2 out of their last 3 road games. The Bruins are struggling to finish. They're in the bottom 3 in third period goals allowed, bottom 5 in third period scoring. They're taking on an undefeated Carolina team who allows fewer goals per contest than any other team in the NHL. Frederik Andersen, he's got a 1.60 goals against average, 946 save percentage. Carolina's allowing only 1.6 goals a game. Meanwhile, offensively, the Canes are in the top 3 in home scoring. Andrei Svechnikov has 5 goals thus far in the year, 9 total points. Meanwhile, Sam Aho's got 4 goals on the season himself, along with 3 assists. Carolina's averaging 39 shots on goal a game at home. I'm going to lean toward Carolina minus 135 in the over 5.5. Next game, Flames, Penguins, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Pittsburgh's minus 120, totals 5.5. Tristan Jarry in net for Pittsburgh. Jacob Markstrom for Calgary. Markstrom comes into today's contest with a 198 goals against average and a 934 save percentage. The Flames are on a 4-game winning streak, and they're allowing only 2.4 goals a game when they travel. Meanwhile, offensively, Calgary's in the top 10 in scoring on average per contest. Elias Lindholm and Andrew Mangiapane each have 7 goals apiece. Lindholm's a +7 when he's on the ice. Meanwhile, Johnny Gaudreau's second in the league with 8 total assists. They're taking on a Penguins team who's in the bottom 10 in offensive shots on goal at home. Meanwhile, defensively, the Pens are in the bottom half of the NHL in second period goals allowed at home as well. Crosby, Letang, Malkin, Rust, out. Carter, questionable. Total-wise, Pittsburgh's 3-1 at the over at home, 5-1 at the over for the entire season. Give me Calgary plus $1 in the over 5.5. Next game, Coyotes, Lightning, 7 o'clock Eastern puck drop. Tampa Bay's minus 310, totals 5.5. Andrei Vasilevsky for the Lightning, Ivan Prosvetov for Arizona. The Coyotes are winless in 6 games thus far in the year. 1-5 against the number in those 6 losses as well. The Coyotes are scoring only 1.8 goals per contest, and they're in the bottom 3 in offensive shots on goal. They're taking on a Tampa club who's coming off a nice 5-1 victory over Pittsburgh in their last outing. Tampa Bay's in the top 10 in third period scoring. Steven Stamkos has 10 points thus far in the year, 4 goals, 6 assists for the center. Meanwhile, Victor Hedman's 5th in the league with 7 assists. Now defensively, the Lightning's in the top 5 in fewest first period goals allowed. Andrei Vasilevsky's 3-2 with a 278 goals against average and a 904 save percentage. Now injury-wise, Kucherov and Bogosian are still out for Tampa. Schmaltz and Timmins are questionable for Arizona. When it comes to the total in this one, 2 out of Arizona's last 3 road games got over the number. The Coyotes are also 4-2 to the over for the entire year. Meanwhile, the Lightning's gone 71% to the over for the whole year themselves. I'm going to lean toward Tampa minus 1.5 in the over 5.5 goals. Next contest, Avalanche Blues, 8 o'clock Eastern start time. Colorado's -1.25, total 6. Darcy Kemper for the Avalanche, Jordan Binnington for St. Louis. Binnington's a perfect 4-0 with a .275 goals against average and a .919 save percentage. The undefeated Blues are giving up just 1.5 goals a game on their home ice. Meanwhile, offensively, they're scoring more goals per game than any other team in the NHL. David Perron scored 6 times and has 8 total points. Meanwhile, Jordan Kyrou has 8 total points himself, mostly thanks to 6 assists. They're taking on a Colorado team who's in the bottom 3 in road goals allowed. They're also letting their opponents make 37 shots on goal a game when traveling. Colorado's lost 4 out of their last 5 contests. Girard's also been ruled out for tonight's contest. Now, total-wise, 2 out of Colorado's last 3 road games got over the line. They're also 4-2 to the over for the entire season. Meanwhile, St. Louis saw 3 out of their last 5 get over the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward St. Louis plus 105 in the over 6. Next game, Wild versus the Kraken, 10 o'clock East. Minnesota Wild's -1.15, totals 5.5. Cam Talbot for Minnesota, Phil Grubauer for Seattle. Now, Grubs is just 2-3 on the year with a .328 goals against average and an .883 save percentage. The Kraken lost 4 out of their last 5 contests, and they're in the bottom 3 in offensive shots on goal. Seattle scores only 2.5 goals per game. They're taking on a 5-1 Minnesota team who allows just 1.6 goals a game when traveling. They're also in the top 3 in defensive shots on goal on the road. Cam Talbot's 5-0 thus far in the year, .255 goals against average, .906 save percentage. Meanwhile, offensively, Minnesota's in the top 10 in scoring on average per game, and they're ripping nearly 37 shots on goal per contest. Matt Zuccarello, he's got 7 total points on the year, 3 goals, 4 assists for the right winger. When it comes to the number in this one, 3 out of Minnesota's last 4 contests got over the posted total. Meanwhile, 6 out of Seattle's last 7 got over the total of 5.5 goals themselves. I'm going to lean toward Minnesota -1.15 in the over 5.5. Next game, Flyers, Canucks, 10 o'clock Eastern, puck drop. Vancouver's -140, number 6. Thatcher Demko for Vancouver. Martin Jones for Philadelphia. Jones comes into today's contest with a .925 save percentage. The Flyers have won 3 out of their last 4 contests, and that includes a big 5-3 victory over Edmonton just last night. Philly's in the top 3 in the league in scoring on average per contest. Cam Atkinson has 6 goals thus far in the season. He's also leading the NHL in plus-minus. Atkinson's currently a +9. Meanwhile, Sean Couturier, he has 7 total points on the year himself. Ellis and Brown are questionable. They're taking on a Vancouver team who lost 3 out of their last 5 and ranks in the bottom 10 in first period goals allowed. Dickinson is questionable tonight for Vancouver. When it comes to the scoring in this one, Philly saw 4 out of their last 5 contests get over the posted number. Give me Philadelphia +120 in the over 6. Next game, Sabres, Ducks, 10 o'clock Eastern start time. Anaheim's -135, totals 5.5. John Gibson for the Ducks, Craig Anderson for Buffalo. Anderson's got a .176 goals against average and a .944 save percentage. As a matter of fact, the Sabres as a team, they're allowing only 1.8 goals per game. They're leading the NHL in fewest second period goals allowed. Defenseman Jacob Bryson's a +3 when he's on the ice. Meanwhile, Victor Olofsson's leading the club with 4 goals on the year. And speaking of scoring, Buffalo is in the top 10 in third period goals per contest. They're taking on a Ducks team who's on a 4-game losing streak, and they rank in the bottom 10 in goals allowed per game. The Ducks are also allowing 35 shots on goal per contest as well. When it comes to the number in this one, Buffalo saw 4 out of their last 6 stay under the number. I'm going to lean toward the Sabres +115 and the under 5.5. Next contest, Jets, Kings, 10:30 East. The Kings are minus 120, totals 5.5. Cal Peterson for Los Angeles. Eric Comrie for Winnipeg. The Jets are on a 3-game winning streak, 15 total goals they scored during that stretch. Kyle Connor has 6 goals on the year, 10 total points. Meanwhile, Andrew Kopp has 8 points on the season, and he's a +7 as well. The Jets are in the top 10 in scoring on average per game. They're taking on a Kings squad who's on a 5-game losing streak, and they rank in the bottom 10 in goals allowed per contest. Cal Peterson's just 1-2 on the year, 371 goals against average, 885 save percentage. When it comes to the total, Winnipeg's 3-1 to the over in their road games, 5-1 to the over for the whole season. I'm going to lean toward Winnipeg plus $1 and the over 5.5. And with that, guys, now it's time for our next and final matchup. It is going to be Canadiens versus the Sharks, 10:30 Eastern start time. San Jose is minus 130, totals 5.5. Aiden Hill for the Sharks, Jake Allen for Montreal. Allen's just 1-5 on this season, 304 goals against average, 890 save percentage. Montreal is in the bottom 10 in goals allowed per game. Meanwhile, offensively, the Habs score fewer goals per contest than any other team in hockey. Montreal is averaging only 1.5 goals a game. They're taking on a San Jose club who's 4-2 thus far in the year, and they allow only 2.3 goals per contest. Aiden Hill's 3-1 with a 291 goals against average. The Sharks are in the top 5 in defensive shots on goal. Meanwhile, offensively, Logan Couture and Timo Meier, they have 7 goals between the two of them. Both players have 9 total points on the year. Couture is a +8, which is 6th in the NHL. And on a side note, San Jose's won their last 10 straight meetings against Montreal. Now, 3 out of San Jose's last 5 stayed under the total of 5.5 goals. Meanwhile, 3 out of Montreal's last 5 stayed under the total of 5.5 themselves. Give me San Jose minus 130 and the under 5.5. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at brockpage.com, where we are 5-1 in our last 6 board member tier package picks. I like Carolina minus 135 over 5.5. Calgary plus $1 over 5.5 hook. Tampa Bay minus 1.5 over 5.5 goals. St. Louis plus 105 over 6. Minnesota minus $1.15 over 5.5 goals. Philadelphia plus $1.20 over 6. Buffalo plus $1.15 under 5.5. Winnipeg plus $1 over 5.5 hook. And before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 5-1 in our last 6 board member tier package picks on brockpage.com. I'm going to lean towards San Jose minus 130 and the under 5.5. With that, guys, now it's time for our shout out of the day. And that's going to go to Cody Dunbar, who said earlier this morning, "Great video, and let's hit this week." All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on brockpage.com. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership here today on that website, just keep in mind you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on brockpage.com, you are going to get access to that content through the end of October. But I do always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Thursday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at brockpage.com.